Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the... Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. We have yet another 5 albums to go through. Surprise, surprise, I know. But before I do carry on, I want to say thank you to everyone who watched the Go Home show. It was mostly short but very, very fun. Obviously those parts are up on YouTube as of last night, so if you want to go watch those, do that. Probably do it after this video though, because this video is going to be a lot shorter, so yeah, just something worth keeping in mind. Also, I'm going to keep my elbow on the arm of this chair right now, because why the hell not? Anyway, yeah, 5 albums to do, let's do the albums. We start in Halmstad, Sweden for Arch Enemy and their 11th album, Deceivers. This is their first album in about 5 years, and these are a band I've covered in backtracking before. I've never actually covered one of their albums as it was released, because I think I did their episode... It was either 2020 or 2021. I think it was in 2020, because, yeah, that would make the most sense. But yeah, I quite enjoyed a lot of this album, and their band I do get the hype behind. So yeah, I'm giving this album a B+. Really loved their particular take on Swedish style melodic death metal. It's just a whole lot of fun, which is surprising for death metal as a genre. Like, you don't really expect it to be this fun, but Arch Enemy always packing so much into it, especially the lead vocalist Alyssa White-Gluz. She's great. John Loomis is still a fantastic guitarist, and he's easily the standout for me. The lyrics, again, still focus less on the more personal stuff, which is a gripe I've had with them over the last couple of albums, and I would like them to take that part a little bit more seriously. But all in all, it's still a very well produced album as well, very well structured too. And it's just really nice to hear Arch Enemy back again after 5 years. They didn't really take a hiatus in the time between, and obviously they went to get stuff sooner, but you know, that whole pandemic thing happened. You might have heard about it, you might not have heard about it, but yeah, that kind of sucks. But still, go find this album out for yourself, especially if you're an Arch Enemy fan. It's very much an Arch Enemy album, and that's never a bad thing. Next we go to Charlotte, North Carolina for Funeral Chic and their 3rd album, Roman Candle. Yeah, and I know this one technically came out last month, but I pushed it back to stuff for this past weekend, and it's a very hard-hitting style. It's what I can only describe as blackened punk, and it is just a proper dutty style, and I absolutely love pretty much everything about this album. I'm giving it an A. I really enjoyed the riffs, especially, just so heavy and big and beefy. Love the lyrical content as well, feeling a little bit sleazy, but at the same time still very well told in their tone and not feeling overly serious, but again, just serious enough. Just that really good balance that I like as well. The production is really good too. I was not expecting them to keep a lot of the murk that they do, but also it sounds surprisingly clean for the most part, and you can actually like hear everything as it goes on, which is the ideal way to get albums produced. The performances are really solid too. From what I know though, this band actually doesn't have a bassist. They've got a lead vocalist, 2 guitarists, and a drummer. No bassist to speak of, which usually would hurt an album, especially in this vein, but no, it just serves it really well. I guess one of the guitars is a bit more down-tuned. But yeah, this is a hell of an album. Got really good pacing in terms of structuring as well, and it fits a lot into its framing. Yeah, this album is just really good. I know I haven't really done the best job of describing how good it is, but it's definitely one you should find out for yourself, especially if you need some like super sleazy, super heavy stuff. This is something that'll fit that, and I'm looking forward to whatever Funeral Chic drop next. Also, I really like their band name. I don't know why, it's just really cool. The album is really cool, so there you go. Listen to it if you want some cool stuff. Next we go to Los Angeles, California for Hollywood Undead and their 8th album, Hotel California, spelled with a K. Yes, it's the Hotel. I'm getting it, obviously, Hotel K California. And these are bands I know about quite well. I've listened to pretty much all their stuff. Even before I did a backtracking episode about them, I'd heard almost all their albums except for their debut, so there you go. Yeah, I'm fairly familiar with their particular brand of rap rocky sort of stuff. And this album I'm giving... What am I giving it? Hang on. A B+, there we go. Really solid album from them, and definitely more of the pick-me-up than their last one. Like, part 1 of New Empire was okay, part 2, not so much, but yeah, this is just a really good step in the right direction. It's a bit more catchy from the band, which I won't lie, I wasn't expecting it, but they do take themselves a bit more seriously, and I like the fact that they're able to... I don't know what it is, but the production on this album, they've worked in the hip-hop elements better into the rock stuff, and the band, like all the rappers, just sound a lot better going off each other. But I am giving Danny Morello, the clean singer, special mention because his range has improved so much over time, and he sounds probably at his best on this one. In terms of lyrics, it's not as full of bravado as it usually is. It's not as toxic as it usually is from the band either. It does take, again, more of a look on the dark life of, the dark side of California life, which is something that when they do it really well, and when they're actually more bothered than usual to do it right on this one. So I appreciate that. Solid instrumental work, really like how the beats are mixed in too. Structurally, it does suffer a bit because it's got a few too many songs for me. A couple could have been cut off, but again, it's just more of a pretty good thing, and this is a pretty good album. I would say, safely, this is probably their best since Notes from the Underground, which is still my favourite Hollywood Undead album, but yeah, it's pretty solid stuff from them. So if you even remotely like Hollywood Undead, which might be difficult because, to my understanding, they're a hated band, and I don't fully know or understand why. Maybe give this one a try, if you want to try and get into Hollywood Undead, this is a really good gateway album, I think. Next we go to Douglasville, Georgia for Norma Jean and their 9th album, Death Rattles Sing For Me. So, I've only got one other album to compare this to in All Hail, which is their album 2019. That's the only album I've listened to from these guys until this one. But I think I gave that one an A. I'm also giving this one an A. I really enjoyed a lot of what I heard. I like how thick and dense the riffs feel. Very much in sort of Funeral Shake vein, but Norma Jean are more metalcore and noise rocky, and those are elements that they bring very much to the forefront, especially on the noisy metally part. The noise metal isn't a thing, but if it were, I think Norma Jean would be the band that does noise metal, and they do it really well. Again, the riff work is really good. The drumming, especially the bass tone, is so good, and I think this is their first with a new bassist. Let me just check really quick. Michael Palmquist. I don't know if he was around for the recording process of this one, but if he was, he fits into the mold of the band really well. I like a lot of the lyrical content as well. Even though Norma Jean are classified as a Christian band, they don't typically talk about those typical subjects, and they focus more on themes like, betrayal and depression and sort of isolation and things like that. And it's a very interesting lyrical stance to take. Not something you would expect from a band like this, and obviously the band themselves still really rock it. Corey Branson is a fantastic vocalist. I've always loved his vocal style when it comes to this brand of metalcore. It's just really good. The production is so goddamn clean as well. Like, it ties in so much of the more willingness to experiment that the band do. And it ties in so well, and again, the pacing is just really good. I mean, it's Norma Jean. They're one of the best modern metalcore acts ever, and they've been around for 25 years, so yeah, I would say that they've fairly in their place in metalcore by this point. So if you just want to listen to Norma Jean at all, maybe listen to this one. If you want some really good metalcore, just listen to this album. This album is really good, and much like Funeral Shake's album, it's cool, but not as sleazy as Funeral Shake's album. I should get that out of the way. But yeah, find this one out, listen to it. It's really, really good. And finally, we go to Brisbane, Australia. Woo, Australia for Wax, spelled with 2 A's. And their second album, At Least I'm Free. So, this is another band that sort of sneaked up on me, randomly came up on the radar, and I would say that they're the band that I was just like, I'll add something to sort of pad out the week, I guess. But this is not like a bad choice for me to have done that, because this album was really good. I'm giving this album the lowest grade of the episode, though, which is a B, which doesn't seem super low, but compared to the rest of the grades I've given out, it's the lowest. That's just the facts. So, this band has been around for about 10 years, and I will admit this album does need a bit of ironing out in some places, but it's got the performance value down. The band come off as really likeable and quite charming and very honest as well. One thing I did have a slight issue with was that the lyrics felt a bit too personal and a bit too self-important, but again, considering the themes that it deals with, mostly that of a toxic relationship and other toxic friendships and overcoming those, it does fit in really well. It's just, I don't know, it felt a bit too much like they were searching for, I don't know, pity. I can't really think of a way to put it that won't piss anyone off. But if you listen to this album and look up the lyrics, you'll find out why. There's still some very fun stuff to be had, though. It's a very good alternative rock, indie rock. I incorrectly coined it as pop punk when I reviewed it on Discord, but it does feel a bit pop punky in a way. The performance is, again, quite good, especially the lead singer, whose name I don't remember, Mary DeVita? Or just Maz DeVita, she's really good. The band's, again, quite charming, and I am a sucker for any Australian acts, especially a sort of new one. I don't think it's right to call them new, considering that they're about 10 years old, but this is only their second album. So, I don't know, maybe I'll look forward to the next one. They don't have a lot to iron out, but I really do want to see what they can fix. But yeah, structure-wise, really good. Production-wise, really, really nice too. I like a lot of the production on this one. And the band themselves, pretty good. I like a lot of the riffs too. There we go, I've covered everything about this album that I can think of to cover. So, yeah, if you want some newish sort of stuff, maybe check out Wax. Just remember to put in the X-ray when you do actually look at this one up. It's still really good though. And that'll about do it. There's another 5 albums done and dusted. If I could recommend any of them, all of them, really. Although, if I had to actually pick, I would recommend Funeral Chic and Norma Jean's albums the most. Especially Funeral Chic's album. That one really caught me off guard in a really good way. So, also, yeah, just listen to all of these. They're all really, really good in their own ways. As for what's next from me tomorrow night, the pay-per-view Harsh Environment. Although there is a slight issue I've run into, do not worry, I will sort that out with my booking cancelled tonight, and the pay-per-view should go on as expected by tomorrow. And next thing after that, most likely a Fight of the Night review. I don't really know. Might be a good one. If there is even a card this week, could be. Hopefully there is. Otherwise, I'm out of a job. I'm really not. I don't get paid for this. But yeah, next thing you'll see for will likely be on Sunday, although if I can get, well, actually tomorrow night, although if I can get it done as well, I do want to put up the Let's Play in full for Peggle 2, because I've only got one more part to edit for that, so yeah, I'll try and get that out on Saturday if I can. That's about it, that's all I can think of. As always, thank you for watching, you're awesome, bye bye.